love to be God magnet. Lobsters and Tserriednich, don't you grab it.
Welcome to Lobster Magnets Review, the channel, the review. I'm here with my good old buddy, Gorogregoro.
Yo.
We are here super hyped to talk about Hunter x Hunter, chapter 362. This was a really good chapter. I was really pleased about it. We delved deep into the Succession War. We've gotten a shit ton of Nen beasts revealed.
Yes.
And we have some crazy designs, including the absolute, masterpiece that we have right over here.
Yes, this picture right here.
That is just amazing. I love it. Like, originally I was really disappointed of Tserriednich, or however the hell you pronounce his name. Tserriednich.
I'm not even going to try to...
Norman Bateman.
Bates.
Like, I thought, oh, wow, it's just a horse monster? Screw that. But then Togashi, puts on his J-horror, his J-horror boots, and he creates an absolute... masterpiece of uncomfortable horror. I love the scene where it's just like the huge inhuman giraffe neck and it's just staring and it's effing drooling and it's like, Jesus Christ, what is that? And it's like goat, eyes, and it's like this face of a woman, and then it opens up to have this like H.R. Giger-esque horror of a mouth with these like tentacle eyes and another mouth of like this other woman, kind of like showing off the prince's misogynistic tendencies. And oh god, poor Theta. We don't know you well. I'm pretty sure you were just introduced to this chapter, but all we can do is hope for the best. You were, absolutely, you got Patrick Bateman, who likes to skin and murder and screw women. You have the unfortunate distinction of being a woman bodyguard. So, and Hunter x Hunter has shown how dark shit can get. Nothing good is going to come of this.
I can imagine so. It's pretty creepy. Though, I mean, to be fair, any Nen user has the upper hand on any non-Nen users.
Well, that's true, but we don't really know what these, Nen beasts are capable of.
Right. That's a good point, but all she has to do really is not reveal, too much of the Nen abilities to the prince. She's just gotta give him like the basics maybe, and like try and keep him at a low level. Like right now,
I find it kind of weird though. The one thing, little nitpicky details that like the princes have no idea about Nen. Like if he's so worldly and like experienced, you'd think he'd like know about it. Yeah, it's not like Nen is like a huge secret.
Nen, Gon didn't know about it, and not Gon or Killua didn't know about it.
No, that's true.
Although Killua was like a world-class assassin.
That always kind of felt like BS-y to me, that like he didn't realize it, even though he's like his entire family consists of Nen users.
Most of his family, probably not some of his family.
Like 80% of his family, all of Nen. Illuma uses Nen. Kaluto uses Nen. Aluka obviously has a very strong Nen ability.
Kaluto is what about the Otaku one?
I don't think he is Nen.
Okay. The Otaku one who just like collects.
He just collects big boobed anime figurines
and video games.
His grandfather uses Nen. His father uses Nen. Probably not his mom.
We don't know. It could be. She could be.
Maybe, but like from what I'm judging by what we've seen, that's what I guess. My guess is no. I don't think she's an Nen user.
Yeah. So. So yeah, Nen is sort of a little bit of a mystery to some people if you're not within that kind of group.
Hunter x Hunter.
You're associated with hunters or
hunters
or just hunters, I should say. Like the Chimerians, they didn't know about Nen.
Yeah, that honestly I always thought was bullshit. Like to me, like the justification was like because they'd eaten so many people that they had like the innate ability to bring out Nen with like training and shit. But like to me, it always felt bullshitty that they just like Don and Killua will learn that like, oh my god, getting super powerful Nen is like a process that takes years and years and years, and here are these stupid like furry monsters, and they're just able to like poop out Nen abilities like in 2 seconds. That always kind of annoyed me. It's like a little bit of a pedantic detail to get hung up around.
Yeah, but it's like.
But it annoyed me.
They're the animals that are like quickly evolving and adapting to their environment. So in that respect, I thought it was pretty cool that they were evolving so quickly.
I don't know. I just didn't like how like most of the royal guards were like born like in 2 seconds, and then they just automatically like have super powerful Nen abilities that they just manifest like right on the spot.
Yeah,
it always felt a tad bullshitty to me.
I mean, Chimerans are from the Dark Continent, Isaac.
Oh
Anything is
yeah, of
possible
course,
in the Dark
anything's
Continent.
constructed in the Dark Continent. Sure, great. So, well, here's the question though. Obviously, Tesseric is like the prince we're kind of rooting for because he seems like he's a great villain. We want to see him do evil stuff. He seems like he's really smart, which makes him like a really great villain to sort of root for, in the sense that like I like smart villains. I like smart villains that are educated and know their stuff, and he seems even more dangerous now that he's a Nen beast.
Yes.
But like, do we want him to learn Nen? Like, on one hand, like it feels like a little. I feel like he will, but it feels a little bullshitty.
I don't think it's possible for him to learn Nen that quickly, though.
It shouldn't be, but I feel like there's going to be an explanation because, like, this trip isn't going to take place over the course of a year. It's going to be like, I don't know, a couple of weeks or something.
I mean, they explained it earlier in the chapter where we meet one of the princes. It's like, I imagine it takes a while for you to learn this ability, and he said about
1 year just to see it.
Just to see it.
Well, what'll probably happen is what I think will happen is that maybe she'll explain something and try and lead him into a wrong direction, but his Nen Beast will have some sort of instinctual effed up ability where it'll stick like its finger things down her throat or something, or in her head, and that'll force her to like use her Nen on him and like give him Nen abilities faster.
Oh god. Oh, that'd be so messed up. I could see that happening, actually. That'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah, he's gonna do some effed up thing. Poor Theta. Poor, dumb guy. Do you like to enjoy the conversation between the two bodyguards?
Yeah, I like, when, God, Hunter x Hunter author's name? Togashi, when he introduces, like, no-name characters like this, he actually makes them way more interesting than they probably should be. Like, these no-name bodyguards, like the situation they're put in, and the casual conversation that's going back and forth is like, man, we can see these Nen beasts. These are freaking crazy. Can you imagine what the evil prince is going to do with these?
Yeah, he does a great job of characterization just through this like expositional dialogue. We know that she's the smart one. He's the kind of blunt enhancer type.
Yeah.
Wish I could be as dumb as you. And then he kind of points to the obvious solution. Well, you know what? You're the best person who could teach him. You can teach him like a type he's not good at. Maybe make it less evil. He's like, this guy's like completely screwed up. I know how bad he is. Evil minds make evil Nen.
Absolutely. And, man, someone like him being able to use Nen would be disastrous. I'm actually curious how the other princes are going to react to, like, the possibilities of Nen. Do you think, like, the number one son, the super brawny one, is gonna try and learn Nen, or is he just gonna use brute force?
I feel like he'll use brute force and maybe his Nen Beast. Well, the interesting thing is that we learned the contract of the Nen Beasts in the sense that, like, they can't attack each other or people who have Nen Beasts, but everyone else is open game. Now,
yes.
my speculation for this is I think the reason why is the whole point of the succession ceremony is that, like, the like Sultan King of Kakin gives us a background that, like, this is a tradition that came from when they were, like, a smaller country and they were almost consumed by warring states, and the idea is it's, like, this sort of Darwinian game that's supposed to, like, teach you how to play the Game of Thrones, where, like,
right.
you don't necessarily win by stabbing the other guy and, like, going at him. You have to, like, outthink him, outplan him, and use your wile and strategery, to take him down. It's basically to train you. If you're worthy and not mediocre, you're going to play this out like a Littlefinger, and figure out some way to take him out. And the Nen Beasts kind of ensure that, like, you just can't stab anyone. You can't do a lazy death.
So the Nen Beasts are sort of like a precaution against the other princes. In a way. Yeah,
they're a precaution to the other...
They're not used for, like, offensive purposes. At least as far as we know.
As far as we know.
Like,
we know that they'll
direct
protect them.
Offense.
They can't control them, but we don't know what the limits of, like, what the Nen Beasts will do automatically. We know,
we know they'll target the bodyguards, for sure.
Yeah, we saw today that, like, one of the prince's bodyguards, like, were all killed. Maybe even by Tesseric.
Yeah.
God, this is
Well,
like
who knows?
this is such an interesting story, and these are all like nothing characters.
I know.
This has no right to be as interesting as it is, and it's like completely fascinating.
And Gon is nowhere near this.
Gon is nowhere near this.
This like side story arc in this beautiful manga. This is Hunter x Hunter. I give it a 10 out of 10 automatically. By the way,
I give it a 9, but we'll get into that later. It was a good chapter. What was your favorite Nen Beast?
well, you know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell the people?
It's the chameleon car. The chameleon car Nen Beast.
Chameleon car
Can
is
you
so
imagine
stupid.
How is a chameleon car going to murder people with its Nen Beast?
So dumb. The chameleon car.
Is it gonna drive over people?
It's idiotic. Oh God. Reminds me of this stupid manga called Black Joke. I think you'd kind of like it on a dumb level. And they have this like it's like this. They have this Italian mobster character called Run Over.
Okay.
And the whole idea is like this paraplegic guy, and he like is in this super wheelchair that's like a car with guns. And he's called Run Over because he's paralyzed because someone tried to run him over.
Wow. Okay.
It's the kind of thing that Scott would like hit his head on and say, "Oh my God, that's something Greg would come up with."
That does sound kind of dumb.
It's the stupidest
On
thing
the
in the
surface level, sounds dumb. But maybe they did it in a smart, intelligent way?
No, they didn't. This is like a complete trashy manga. It was like lots of sex and violence, and it's the trashiest fucking thing in the world.
Well, I don't know anything about it. Maybe one day I'll take a
Maybe I'll share it with you someday. But back to you love this stupid chameleon car.
I think it's gonna be freaking cool. It's just
of course you like go to like the dumbest one.
What about you?
I like that Buddhist sun thing. I think that's really interesting.
Oh yeah, you like it even more than this one?
This one's really good, though. This one's really good. I guess this one's a little bit above that one, but I like the Buddhist sun. I like this one. I love the laughing moon. I just love that whole page with like the fat guy who's just like in this filthy room, and there's like
screw the Succession War.
Yeah. It could choke my dick, party your brains out. Yeah. And he's just this fat guy who's like in this completely disheveled room and just all these naked like supermodels.
Yeah.
And then he has this moon that's like, it looks like it's screaming out and like vomiting. I don't know. That panel is like one of those things that like transcended manga for me. And like made me like, it was like I felt it. I like felt the pulse of the music. I could hear like the moon laughing. It was like one of those like moments where it felt the mood and setting was so pronounced that like you could almost see it animated.
Yeah.
I don't know if you liked it as much as I did, but like
I don't know if I liked it as much, but I could definitely appreciate what Togashi was doing with that scene, and like how he's having the princes like all react to the Nen Beasts and the Succession War so differently is all very, very interesting stuff.
Oh yeah, we get some strategizing where it's like, the others don't matter. It's all about the top 4, and they don't deserve it either.
Yes. And the strategizing, there's alliances, there's like people who will disregard the idea of Nen completely and focus purely on strategy.
Yeah, that guy was like, I'm not interested if it takes a year, but I'm at the top because I know about him. He thinks he's so smart, but he's probably going to die. The guy's the dick monster.
Yeah, potentially. Though nobody can control them.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I'm really curious to see what they do in action.
Yeah.
And then the king of Kaken's like, ooh, there's 200,000 people. Like,
oh yeah,
Jesus Christ, you're going to like
sacrifices.
A dark continent. Why are you doing this here? Like, and from a logical sense, it makes no effing sense. But like from a storytelling sense, I don't care. It's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But I guess it just shows how few fricks that the Sultan King gives a crap about like the human consequences of his actions.
Yeah, this is actually curious. Like, what does he care more about? Does he care more about the Succession War or the Dark Continent? Because this way he's like, the way he's doing this Succession War right now kind of interferes with his plan a little bit to, explore the Dark Continent properly.
We don't really know like how important the Dark Continent is to anyone. Like actually, it's funny. Like out of all the things that are going on in Hunter x Hunter, the least important thing right now is the Dark Continent.
Yeah, but it's always looming in the background. This is like going to be the big thing that they're eventually going to arrive to.
God, like I wonder how many I feel like the Dark Continent arc has the potential to be like longer than the Chimera Ant.
Can you imagine? Oh my God! What if like halfway through this arc, they're just like, we ran out of supplies. We got to go back. They just decide to go back and cancel the trip.
Maybe, yeah.
It's like, we'll have to wait another 10 years in order to go back to the Dark Continent. And that'd be completely fine in Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah. We didn't need to go to the Dark Continent. Dark Continent wasn't important.
Yeah.
Togashi might even do that. He's got the crazy balls to like actually do something like that.
God. I don't know. But man, I wonder, how could you possibly make the story turn like that after so much hype for the Dark Continent?
Well, what I really want to see is I want to see like some Spider on Prince action, or like, Zodiac on Nen Beast action.
Zodiac on Nen Beast action. Oh yeah. God, I still wondering what the heck these Nen Beasts are gonna be doing.
I don't know.
They're just like roaming around, like doing God knows what to the bodyguards.
Yeah, I like the sort of ugly woman who's like, "Ooh, I bet you my Nen Beast is an angel, or maybe no, they're more like fairies." And then like there's this subtle implication that it's like this horrible ant monster that's like pooping out.
What is that thing pooping him out?
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be like the ultimate, most creepiest thing of all.
Yeah. So many good ones. We haven't seen every single Nen Beast, I believe. We've probably seen a good.
I think we've seen like half of them.
A good chunk of the important ones.
I'm trying to think. There are 14 princes.
Shoot. Are there 14 princes? Let me check.
I'm 100% sure there's 14 of them. Uh, 14 princes of the Rushu family. I feel like we've seen like maybe like 9 or 10 of the Nen Beasts. There, yeah, go there and you'll see.
Well, like how many? We got?
Go down. There's his relatives.
4th prince.
Yeah, because Wobble is like the youngest one. If you go down and click Wobble, he's the 14th.
Okay.
14th and youngest prince.
Where does it say that? Oh, yeah. Okay, so there's 14 princes. So there should be 14 Nen Beasts. Not including King Kakin's Nen Beast.
God, I wonder if that's what's going to happen if, like, the king is like, that would be, how effed up would that be if, like, the king is like, after, like, the last person's there, well, if you truly want to be king, you must to kill me!
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's kind of a weird thing. Why would he include himself, possibly, in the Succession War?
Well, that hasn't been revealed. As far as we know, it's like, after he dies.
If there's, like, no one who could control the Nen Beast, like, he's also in danger as well, isn't he?
No, he's got a Nen Beast, remember?
He's got a Nen Beast, too, but no, he's... Like, if all the other princes are sort of, like, indirectly endangered as well with these Nen Beasts, like, he could also be indirectly endangered as well.
Well...
It's like 14 on 1.
The Nen Beasts can't attack... you can't attack him, though, and they can't attack each other.
I am a little bit confused about the Succession War now, though. Now that I see that the Nen Beasts can't target other people who have Nen Beasts, so it's like makes it confusing. Like, what is the purpose of these Nen Beasts to begin with?
I guess the idea is that, like, maybe one prince like tries to assassinate another prince and stab him in bed, and then the Nen Beasts can't do anything. Or maybe, like, another prince tries to, like, stab a prince while he's going to eat dinner. Or, maybe he has to do something crafty like poison him. And a Nen Beast might be able to, like, protect against a really obvious and dumb attack, but, like, being poisoned is something that they're incapable of.
Okay, well...
Because the whole idea is that, like, this is all supposed to be in the shadows. They're not supposed to be, like, fighting in the middle of the hallways. It's supposed to be discreet, a shadow war that takes place, in the bedrooms, and not like there isn't supposed to be like a huge dinner where they just break out into a brawl.
Right. Yeah, I am very curious how the intricacies of these succession wars are gonna go.
Well, it's very interesting. The real question is, who do you think is going to die first?
Probably, man.
If I had to guess,
You never know with Hunter x Hunter. It could be like one of the weaker ones, or just like it could surprise you with the stronger ones, too.
I think what's going to happen is the prince we saw talking to Tesseract in the beginning, it'll either be them or it'll be the guy who said he wasn't interested in Nen, who was like smoking.
Oh, the Prince Harkonnen?
No, Prince Harkonnen is like completely separate.
But you think, since all his bodyguards look like they're dead, maybe he's...
he might be first, because like he's the pacifist prince, and it could be him. There's a good chance of him.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be so good. This is such a good arc.
I know. I'm really excited. This is like... just this fraction of the story in Hunter x Hunter is so cool. I just love it. This is my new favorite, Hunter story arc at the moment.
It's really good. I'm enjoying it. There's just so many factors at play, and like we haven't even gotten to like Jing or the Zodiacs, or all the other cool stuff that's like at the fringes of the story.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see how like Pariston or Jing reacts to this kind of succession war too, and see what they have to say.
Poor Kurapika. Although I wonder if half the reason why Tesseract is going to get Nen is just so he can have some climactic fight against Kurapika.
I don't know. I don't know. He can't learn Nen that quickly.
I hope not, but I feel like there's going to be some bullshit. I think he's going to get it somehow, and it'll feel kind of bullshitty, but we'll still accept it, because Togashi will have some sort of crazy explanation for it.
Yeah. What did you rate this 9? Why did you rate this a 9?
I guess because I'm like eager for like the action to take place and see what these like I don't know. Like for me, like a 10 chapter is like a fist pumping fuck yeah moment that makes me like, jump out of my seat and cheer.
Isn't the fact that this manga is going on right now and not in hiatus a fist pumping?
F yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, and I really enjoyed this chapter. But like, I don't know, there's so many questions, and I'm like, it still feels like we're still in like the massive setup. Like, I want to see this Game of Thrones actually happen. I want to see like all the machinations occur. Like,
oh, this is probably majorly influenced by Game of Thrones, actually.
Maybe.
Now that I think about it.
It could very well be. It does feel like, this is, God, yeah, it's super Game of Thronesy.
Yeah, this is like Togashi's very with the times right now, in terms of his pop culture.
Maybe he watched it on his hiatus, and then that's what his main inspiration was, but he wanted to combine it with like J-horror and all of his like crazy Nen Beasts. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Really cool idea for a story arc.
Oh God, it's so like. Although here's a question though: out of all the ongoing story arcs right now, do you like them all equally, or is there one you'd like to see the most?
I mean, this one right now is so cool.
It is really cool, but like, let's say the next chapter was just Hisoka hunting spiders. Would you like that more?
I so love this guy's work so much. I love almost anything. I love anything that he puts out. This is like this. Hisoka could like try and learn blackjack, and that would be like the most that would be the most freaking interesting like story arc in that way more interesting than something like Dr. Stone would write.
Yeah, actually, well, when you put it that way, I think I could watch Hisoka do blackjack. I think that'd be pretty interesting.
I'm serious, by the way. I would be like thrilled if Togashi wrote like a Hisoka trying to learn blackjack.
Well,
chapter.
Here's a good question: if like Togashi like wrote the Kaiji manga, would that be like your favorite thing of all time?
Jeez, Kaiji is a different beast, though. I feel like because Kaiji is like,
but
Kaiji just feels a little bit different kind of style than what Togashi.
But you don't think you'd come up with like all these ridiculous games and scenarios and gambles and psychological mind games? You don't think you'd love that?
I feel like for Togashi to make a good Kaiji thing, he has to do it his Togashi way and like go on like these huge tangents of like certain gamblers and their betting habits, and then them losing it all and like following their families after the aftermath and seeing them sell their own houses and like going begging on the street afterwards, and things like that. Well, like Kaiji is it doesn't really fit that kind of storytelling. I feel the same as Togashi's. I don't think it would match very well.
Interesting. But yeah, this is this is a good arc. Do you think Tesseract is going to become like one of like the best villains of Hunter x Hunter?
Tesseract, you think become one of the best villains? I don't know. I think he's. Well, I think he's kind of like a little bit cannon fodder, actually.
Well, we need to learn more about him. We just know that like the potential's there for like he's this big arrogant prince. He's like the Hannibal Lecter. He's like the Patrick Bateman of the series in the terms of that. Like we know he's like a horrible murderer who treats women horribly, but he's also arrogant. Like the potential is all there for like an all-timer villain.
But he is gonna learn Nen. It seems like he's gonna learn Nen, but right now, in terms of like combat prowess, like Kurapika like outclasses him outright.
Well, we don't know what his Nen beast can do, just that it like looks creepy as hell.
Yeah. And
Kurapika, well, I guess Kurapika is like much better in combat prowess, but Kurapika doesn't is kind of limited, and he's not a spider.
Oh yeah, the prince is not a spider. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, Kurapika has that convenient ability now that where you can like take another one's ability and use it temporarily.
Oh, he can shoot off that sphere to control maybe one of the fairies that that prince has.
Oh, what tell me to do something fairy?
No, the small Nen beasts.
No, it said
in this chapter.
It said it couldn't capture those. It says it can't.
Oh, it can't capture creatures and Nen. That's right. Okay.
It can only capture live animals.
Okay.
But obviously, Kurapika's going to use it, and it's going to be like super informative. He's going to do some like spying recon. You don't like have all that set up for the rules and limitations of it without Kurapika using it effectively.
Yeah, I'm hoping we see some good small animal spying. Does he have control over the small animal, you think? Or
yeah. He controls the animal, and then he sees like everything that it's like a recon ability.
Okay. God, that is a really lame power, though.
It is a lame power. It's like a super convenient power for the sake of this arc, so Kurapika can get more information. Because poor Kurapika's like, Kurapika's the only one who like realizes how effed up he is. But Kurapika's like such a diligent worker. He's still gonna like try and like do his best.
Yeah, Kurapika. He got really put in this like weird situation where, okay, yeah, now you're in the middle of the succession war, and there's like little children's lives on the line as well.
I think Kurapika's good-natured enough in the sense that, like, he's still going to, like, legitimately try and protect the child. There's this really good analysis of Kurapika that, like, this guy made on YouTube. I'll have to link it to you later.
Yeah.
Where they sort of talk about, like, how Kurapika is, like, so consumed with vengeance that, like, you know, that it's, like, and it's kind of, like, burning him up because he's not, like, a naturally hateful person. Mm-hmm. But his ultimate fear is that his hate will go away. And he's obviously a very competent person, but, like, you know, his best side is when he's just, like, hanging out with his friends, and that brings about, you know, his better qualities versus his, like, dogged persistence and, you know, go at it alone attitude.
Yeah. Well, that sounds pretty dead on with Kurapika's character.
So the question is, will Kurapika learn the shonen power of friendship, or will he continue to reject it to some sort of tragic fate?
If something bad happened to Kurapika in this arc, I mean, that'd be devastating. That'd be pretty devastating.
Yeah, that would be fucked up.
I wonder who would, who would support and take care of Kurapika. I mean, besides Leorio. I mean, Leorio's my first guess. How would Leorio react to this succession war?
Does he know about it? Because he's a Zodiac, so he's like on the medical team, so he's kind of forced into this whole expedition. I'm pretty sure he's there.
Did Kurapika contact the Zodiacs as well about this?
Yeah. Well, I think they know.
Okay.
No. Did they know? I need to go a few chapters back. I don't think anyone was supposed to know about the succession war. But he might have told them about the Nen Beasts. Because Kurapika, Leorio's a Zodiac. He doesn't really deserve it, but he's a Zodiac now. And he's on the Dark Continent expedition, and he's doing, like, medical stuff, and all the Zodiacs are trying to, like, keep things law and order on the boat, but even they're having trouble.
Man, what would you do if you're like this in charge of security and you know about these Nen beasts in the succession war going on with the princes?
I don't know. Just run and hide. Get off the boat.
Swim
to shore.
Evacuate the boat like into the lower quarters and make sure the Nen beasts can't reach them.
Something like that. Just like hide.
Actually, I also wondered, like, what happens to the host when you kill the Nen Beast? Does the host die as well? Or is it like...
What, if the Nen Beast dies?
Yeah.
Good question. I don't know. Maybe the host is just fine. Because the Nen Beasts are parasitic organisms, and they feed off the host's aura. So
Right.
they're not, like, linked, symbolic, they're not symbiotic, as far as we know.
Right. Okay.
So assumingly, the person will be just fine. We don't even know if you can kill the Nen Beasts.
The Nen Beasts also probably would eat other people's aura as well. To stay vitalized.
I can't say yes or no. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it's implied that, you know, when the Kaken King says this vessel is 200,000 sacrifices, so maybe they do eat other people's aura, and they consume it. And maybe Tserriednich's Nen Beast killed all of Harkonnen's bodyguards to, like, fuel its power.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that could entirely be possible.
Anything goes right now, and, like, I have no idea how anything's going to unfold. I didn't think we were going to get a horse monster, with, like, a Giger in her mouth with, tentacle eye things, but, that's what we got.
What do you think your affiliate link is going to be?
Oh, that's 100% going to be the Gon figure. That's going to be the Super Gon figure where Gon has his power up. Right over there. Go get the Super Gon figure. It's really obnoxious. It's like 4 feet of hair, of Gon's Super Saiyan hair. It's down there in the description. Definitely buy it. We've been talking for a while. This has been a good, just relaxed discussion about Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
Good chapter. 9 for me, 10 for Greg. A lot of information. Really, really dense.
Why did you
lot
give
of
it
cool
just
stuff.
a 9 again?
I wanted something more to happen. Like, I want to see, like, the politics actually occur. Like, I want to see some moves happen as opposed to, like, exposition. As much as I'm enjoying learning about the rules, I want to see, like, what these Nen Beasts can actually do.
But yeah, of course, we gotta introduce the Nen Beasts first, though, right?
But,
And,
it
how the princes
was
react
still
to
a
them.
really good chapter.
Yeah, it's amazing. I consider it really amazing chapter.
Yeah, Togashi, you are a master of coming up with weird, effed up shit that, H.R. Giger may be dead, but you are keeping the legacy alive.
Absolutely. J horror mixed with H.R. Giger mixed with Game of Thrones. Brilliant.
This will never happen. Could you imagine if like HBO made like a live action Hunter x Hunter series?
Oh God. No, I can't imagine that ever.
Yeah, that would probably be terrible. I wonder if there were some Hunter x Hunter movies that came out when the 2011 series came out. I think we saw the first one.
I can't even imagine a live action Hunter x Hunter, like.
Well, there is
anime.
like a live action JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4. So if JoJo can fucking make the transition to live action, then I can't imagine Hunter x Hunter would be impossible.
Is JoJo like somewhat similar in terms of like storytelling?
That's interesting because I think that Hunter x Hunter shares a lot of its DNA with JoJo, not in the ways you'd think, but I think the Nen abilities are heavily influenced by stands.
Oh yeah, okay.
And JoJo's predates Hunter x Hunter, but JoJo's isn't as smart or as it doesn't make as many weird storytelling choices as Hunter x Hunter.
Uh-huh.
It's a little bit more basic, but in terms of the variety of stand powers and all the creative uses they have, that feels like a huge influence. And that Togashi with his rules for Nen and how the Nen Hatsus have all these crazy abilities, they're very, very similar to stand powers.
Okay, I can see that.
So that is where JoJo's been going on so long that stands have influenced everything. Most modern shonen series are influenced by the idea of people have these very specific powers that make them immune to typical displays of physical strength. So anyone can be a superhero, and they all do very specific things that interact in different ways. And to a very limited degree, you see that in Naruto and some of the earlier ninja fights where Shikamaru outsmarts it with his inferior shadow binding technique. Obviously, it's much more apparent here with the Hatsus and the Nen. They're very stand-like.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. So I've been watching little bits and pieces of JoJo here and there. So maybe we'll go back and get you on the JoJo's bandwagon. It's very fun. JoJo's super fun, breezy, and plus it also is the generational saga. And the interesting thing about JoJo is that Tetsuo Araki is always I hope I got this right. It's Araki something. He's always evolving his format, so each part is always plays out a little differently than the part previously. The first one has a Victorian theme. It's very basic bitch. The second one, he sort of gets more of a personality. And then the third one throws out pretty much all of the lore from the first two out the window. In the sense that the iconography of vampires, pillarmen, Hamon as a fighting technique is just thrown completely out of the window, and he introduces the concept of stands without really giving any kind of justification of why hasn't this shit been around all the time, and just runs with it. And then the third part is a road trip where they're just traveling across the world. The fourth part takes place entirely in a suburb, so it's just one location. I saw all of that. That was a really good anime. And it's just half of the episodes are just the main cast hanging around and doing things like going to visit an Italian restaurant. So the feel of it is very different than the more traditional adventure third part. The fifth part is this Italian mafia crime story. A lot of people really love that. The sixth part takes place in a woman's prison, and it features the first female JoJo. The seventh part completely reboots the effing universe and goes back to the 1800s and features this guy who rides horses and has this giant horse race across the United States where the guy's paralyzed, and all the while people are finding the parts of Jesus that are strewn about America that give people stand powers. Steel Ball Run, and people love it. They say it's the best one. And then the eighth part is takes place in the universe of the seventh part, but it has connections to other stuff that nobody really knows because it's this big mystery. And so it's
part?
Yeah, that's the current part. So JoJo's is always changing, always evolving, and while it's not as smart as Hunter x Hunter can be, when it's at its best, he's always trying something new and trying some new format, and always never growing stale. Even if sometimes
that's kind of cool.
Even if it kind of breaks down to oh my god, this guy is a stand user. What's his stand power?
Mm-hmm.
That's JoJo at its most formulaic. but on the broader canvas, like each one has a different tone. Each one has like a different theme. Every JoJo, each of the respective main JoJos, all embody different characteristics. The first JoJo is very boring. He's like a noble gentleman. The second JoJo is like a trickster who doesn't play fair and is always like trying to like outsmart his foes. He also gets like a little. He's still muscular, but he gets a little bit more kind of like effeminate and sexy, like metrosexual. The third JoJo guy, Jotaro, is like Clint Eastwood. He's like a badass who's just like super stern and serious, but has a slightly softer side that you see at some points. Mm-hmm. The fourth JoJo is more playful and goofy and fun-loving. The fifth JoJo has a kind heart, but he also has like a bit of a ruthless, mean side. When he sees injustice and is a little bit more crueler. Mm-hmm. I'm not quite sure what the sixth JoJo is, but it's a girl JoJo.
Okay.
So you get the idea. It's always changing, always evolving, and that's what like makes JoJo evergreen. And it's got a great anime adaptation. Togashi, like,
what were you saying about Togashi?
Togashi doesn't quite follow the
those
JoJo model.
Kind of risks,
but he does take those kind of risks, and he does take, obviously his biggest influence is like he loves convoluted powers with very specific purposes, which he's like totally lifting from Araki and all his crazy stand powers. Yeah. So that's where I think the two share a lot of DNA.
Yeah.
Even if I'd say the average JoJo storyline is maybe a little bit dumber and a little bit more basic than, Hunter x Hunter.
Man, that sounds like fun, the way you described some of those JoJo story arcs.
Yeah.
The giant horse race one. That's kind of funny.
Like, through, casually watching it and, watching videos of people talk about it, I've gained an incredible appreciation. Because, I've always sort of been tangentially aware about JoJo. I remember when I was, younger, I'd read video game magazines where they talk about, the JoJo fighting game that came from Japan and how it came from this, famous anime, long-running manga that nobody gave a shit about in America. And it was like that for a while. Nobody gave a shit about JoJo, except for out of Japan, but it got a good anime adaptation and it just exploded like wildfire.
Yeah.
And, in some ways you could say the same thing happened to Hunter x Hunter, and that, there's a lot more Hunter x Hunter love now because of the absolutely excellent 2011 anime than there was before. And, now it's spread, and people love Hunter x Hunter.
Good anime makes,
gets people to like great manga and makes great manga even more.
Exactly. So, just because a series doesn't have a great, fantastic anime, though, doesn't mean that the series, the manga series, is bad.
Yeah, at some point I'm going to have to show you the really good video about, why someone was saying Berserk was unadaptable. It was a really interesting discussion. Yeah. Really? Mm-hmm. But, it was a good chapter. I'm impatient for the next one. I can't wait to see how this goes. Bygone's hairdo, have this really awkward figure that's really big and clutters lots of space. There's a hilarious photo of someone Harry Potter using a wand. It's the Gon figure with the hair.
Really?
Yeah. Oh god, Hunter x Hunter, and it's amazing. I hate Gon. I think he's the most boring, basic bitch shonen character ever. But everything else is so effing interesting. Even this Theta girl is really interesting. I love this image of her just standing still, sternly, unfazed by this absolute monstrous Cthulhu horror that's staring at her in the face.
Yeah, that no one else can see. And she's trying to not give the evil prince as much information about his Nen beasts or about Nen in general.
Yeah.
That she has to, without getting killed.
It's amazing. We're completely in this no-name character's corner. It's God, I wish people could write filler stories as interesting as Togashi makes cannon fodder characters in Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah. For sure.
The My Hero Academia, don't you wish those, generic characters who, joined in from the other class were as interesting as, little Theta here?
I do, actually. I do wish that. Man, that'd be... Man, it's weird to compare My Hero Academia to this. This is,
it's so different. It's so different. But I'm just making the point in the sense that, Theta is a nothing character.
Yes.
Those 4 characters that we saw in the OVA special were nothing characters, except maybe the Snake Girl, just because she kind of comes from the manga on a limited basis.
Right.
But like this nothing character is 10 times more interesting than those nothing characters.
Yes.
Why can't we get filler with interesting nothing characters? Or who knows? Maybe she's just interesting because she has such a direct role in the Succession War, and that like the interest of that is like piling into her, even though she's kind of like a very basic character design.
Yeah. It does sort of lead into the bigger plot points of like the evil prince potentially learning Nen, and she's only one of the few people who can actually use Nen and see Nen, along with that other guy, among the evil prince's bodyguards, I should say.
Well, it also sets up a really good conflict in the terms of like, can she avert disaster by preventing him from having some horrible ability that like mutilates people and like, cuts penises off or something.
Yeah, well, I imagine he's not going to get that graphic.
I don't know, man. You never know with Togashi. You never know.
I think beheadings is probably the farthest he's going to go in terms of, like, mutilation.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Not like... He's not going to, like, have people's, like, other body parts chopped off, like boobs or...
Well, I don't know. Weren't there, like, a lot of people who were
penises.
like, yeah, true. It won't be that graphic, but... We'll see. It's really exciting. All right, so we've been talking about this old enough. I got to get going. I have an appointment in the city. This has been a lot of fun. We love giving a little extra love to our Hunter x Hunter reviews.
Hunter x Hunter's the best!
Hunter x Hunter's the best! Why aren't you all reading Hunter x Hunter? Oh my god, I love it so much. It's so good. I want it now.
Everyone read Hunter x Hunter from the beginning, or watch the anime from
And
the
then
beginning.
join us in the arc. It's so good. Hunter x Hunter's the best. Hunter x Hunter deserves all the fandom in the world. If you like Hunter x Hunter, like, comment, subscribe. I'll probably respond to your comments because I like talking about Hunter x Hunter.
And, yes, same. Alright, guys. See ya.
Bye!
You gotta love shooting, gotta back it. Love turns into time, you don't you grab it.